Hey, what's up, guys? So, up next, we're gonna do Samson, What About Us? And right off the bat, it says if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Alright, I've heard that a time or two.
Don't tread on me. Those are words that I stand by, homie. It doesn't mean I'm gangster, it doesn't mean I'm country. It means that my life is in my hands only. I don't have money for security. I don't have armed guards that I keep snug around me. You don't think I deserve protection like you do, and that means you don't give a fuck about me. Gated community, that's what you live in. Hatred and mutiny, that's what we live in. So come down here and hang with us for a minute. See if you leave with the same fucking opinion. Who's gonna help me out if I get robbed? What if somebody were to beat up my mother? Who's gonna be there to save our lives? You? Nah, me, motherfucker. I'm the only one that's got my back. It's dog eat dog, these are not no cats. There's cops in Michigan that can't even respond to their calls because the cars ain't got no gas. Great. Police don't have any fuel. You don't know if they'll arrive when you call them. The babies are starving. My girlfriend can't find a tampon, and yet some.
So, I think this is about gun control. Alright, so he's saying if you want to take away our guns, then we can't defend ourselves. Alright, I think that's what he's getting at here. And it makes perfect sense. You know what I'm saying? It really does.
Somehow you and I are the problem. I've never bought a gun without having my background scanned and approved. The only loophole I've seen on a gun is the one that you put a fucking lanyard through. It's not true that you can go to the store and just swipe your card and get a Glock and run. It's funny, the people that say that shit have literally never even shot one. Duh.
Okay. So, I think what he's saying is that, restrictions make sense. And that's really the argument that I hear a lot, alright, is, a lot of people will hear, we need stricter gun laws, right? And they'll take that and then they'll say, you're not taking my guns. But in reality, I think when they say we need stricter gun laws, they're talking exactly about what he's saying. Let's just make sure that we're giving guns to people who will use them responsibly. Alright? And then, of course, he's just addressed something else. No one can just go and swipe their card and walk out with a gun. But if that is available anywhere, then that's something that should be addressed. Alright. So that's the way I see it. So I would say, just because someone talks about gun laws, or, stricter gun laws or whatever else, ask them what exactly they mean by that. What exactly are you trying to do? Alright? Because if you want to take guns away from people who are responsible with them, then I say hell no. And I would agree with that. If you're talking about wanting to make it easier for everybody to get guns, then I say hell no. You know what I'm saying? We don't need, like he just said, no one's going to be walking in, swiping a card, and walking out with a gun. Absolutely should not happen that way. Everyone should have to go through the same process in order to get weapons. Alright? I also think certain types of weapons should be banned. Okay? I could be wrong. All opinions are welcome. If you guys disagree with that, put in the comments, let me know why. Let me know why some of you guys think you should have access to fully automatic rifles. For me, I don't see the necessity in it. I mean, if that's something that, you really want, there's states where you can own that kind of stuff. Each state is going to be different and have different laws in place for what type of weaponry their citizens can own. So, that's the way I see it. Alright? For me, I think when we're talking about mass shootings, it would be easier to take down an assailant who has a semi-automatic weapon. And what that means is, you can't just hold down the trigger and it goes. Okay, it's not going to do that. You have to every time you want to shoot, you have to pull the trigger. Okay, so the fire rate is going to be a lot lower on semi-automatic weapons. The only thing it means is that you don't have to load every single round. So you have like 6 or 7 in the chamber or the clip or whatever it is, and then that's it. After those run out, then you have to reload it. All right. So, but if you're talking about automatic rifles, fully automatic, those could have 30 to 60 rounds in them. All right. So it that's the way I see it. So I can understand them saying certain weapons should not be allowed. All right, for just anybody to go and pick up. I could see more strenuous testing before someone could carry and own, that type of weaponry. I could see that as being a possibility. All right, like make it so that if someone can show that, hey, I can be responsible with a weapon like this, I'm not getting ready to go shoot up a bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's important. It really is. Alright.
Hey, Matthew McConaughey. Shut the fuck up. Just cause you've murdered people on screen doesn't mean you know shit about guns, you dumb fuck. What? You worried about us? What about all of those violent movies that you played? How about you go talk to Alec Baldwin before you start telling me what to do, okay? Uvalde, I was horrified by...
Oh, man. He's calling some names out now. So he's talked about Alec Baldwin. That right there, y'all, was just a really sad thing. That something like that happened when it shouldn't have happened. All right, the amount of disregard for the rules and for safety that went on that set, unreal. You know what I'm saying? Unreal.
McConaughey. Shut the fuck up. Just cause you've murdered people on screen doesn't mean you know shit about guns, you dumb fuck. What? You worried about us? What about all of those violent movies that you played? How about you go talk to Alec Baldwin before you start telling me what to do, okay? Uvalde, I was horrified by it. That's your hometown, you were born right by it. It probably cuts deep and I hope that it does, cause you work in an industry that glorifies violence. It's more your fault than it will ever be mine. Lord only knows how many crimes that you've influenced throughout your whole career, cause I've seen you kill people plenty of times. What do you...
Alright, so that is a fair critique right there. They do glorify violence, alright? But it's not supposed to blur the lines between fantasy and reality, alright? The audience is supposed to know it's just for entertainment. To say that it's on them, that it's Hollywood's fault or the actor's fault or anything else, that's not really fair to say, though. Alright? Because, like I said, it's whoever's viewing it, it's their responsibility to understand this is not reality. Alright? If someone could watch a movie like John Wick and then think, oh, this is cool, I want to go and be a hitman. Alright. Is that John Wick's fault? Can we go and sue the production company and say you caused this? No, absolutely not. Because if it wasn't John Wick, then it might have been a Matthew McConaughey movie. Then it might have been a song. Then it might have been a TV show. Alright? Or it might have even been a book. You know what I'm saying? So, that is, if someone views something and then they start to live it like it's, whatever else. That's on them. That's your problem. All right. But at the same time, I do understand his critique, though. All right.
Think is gonna cause a shooting, a YouTube video of a gun review, or a Hollywood murder scene that seems so realistic it looks like it's from the news. So next time that you wanna point your finger with a stupid opinion and chime in with it, remember, it ain't me that they're trying to be like, dog, it's you that they're trying to mimic. I feel way more safe in a place where the people are legally armed. If something happens like a mass shooting, I have a way less chance of being lethally harmed. The criminal is...
This is true. You know what I'm saying? This right here is absolutely true. And it's such a good point for him to bring it up. The more good people with guns, the better off we're going to be able to defend ourselves. You know what I'm saying? If something bad starts to happen. So a really good, thing here is arming good people. All right? That should be the goal. I mean, just think, if we do that enough, then whenever someone thinks, I'm going to go and start shooting people, all right? What's going to happen if at a certain point they can't do that without having other people around that's going to see them start to do that and say, you ain't doing that this time, because I'm going to shoot you before you get a chance to shoot anybody. You know what I'm saying? That would be an incredible thing to happen. If every single time the bad guys with guns are way outnumbered. Alright? That would be the goal. So, what we're going to do after this, I'm going to play a Saturday Night Live commercial. Alright? For the longest time, I didn't put two and two together with it. I always thought it was just about bugs. Alright, that's what it was about. Just the bugs. It was just a funny commercial that didn't really mean or say anything important. But trust me when I tell you this, it's gonna fit in perfectly with what he's talking about. Alright?
Gonna think twice if he knows everybody is a piece underneath their clothes.
Right.
And Mayor Lightfoot will probably tell you different, but have you seen Chicago? And no, before you ask, I don't want to be like Canada either, and I don't want to be like Australia. I'm sick of everybody using them as a humanity meter. There's a reason that they can do whatever they want to their citizens, like fucking throw them in camps. And there's a reason that our government doesn't even try that shit, because they know that they can't. If you don't think for one split second that if we didn't have our Second Amendment, the government wouldn't overstep its boundaries and make us do shit even when we're against it, you're out of your mind. I don't give a damn where you stand or how or what you vote. That's dandy and fine if you trust Uncle Sam, but I, for one, fucking don't. And why would I? What have they done? Give me a reason for me to believe them. They want to trade me a little security in exchange for a big-ass piece of my freedom. They don't want to take away guns because they care about you and they want to keep you safe at night. They want to take away guns because it's easy to control people if they don't have any way to fight. Hey, buddy.
That right there, y'all, an amazing point to make. Alright? People who can't defend themselves are way easier to control. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Completely back him up on that. And, have some common sense. If you're arguing against what he's saying, have some common sense. And really think logically about what he's saying. Alright?
What your little AR-15 gonna do when the government comes to take it? Well, Ukraine started handing out rifles to all of their citizens when the Russians invaded, so what about that? I thought it wouldn't help. I guarantee that it'd be better than nothing. I hope it never does, but if the day comes, I bet that you're gonna wish that you had something. This is the only country on earth where the people have real strength. And nowadays, with all the shit going on, it's the only thing that makes me feel safe.
Exactly. That was what I was thinking too. Alright? Like, Imagine if another country was like, we're going to invade America and we're going to overthrow their government. All right. Um, and try and turn us into a communist country or whatever else they might think might be a good idea. How far do you think they would get? All right. I'm going to tell you this, not very far. Um, and the reason why I say that, most of us, not all, but probably 50% at least is armed of us Americans. All right. Probably more. Um, you know, let them try and roll in our country with tanks and shit. We would blow those sons of bitches up. All right. uh, we would probably meet them with our tanks. And that's not even our military. All right. Our citizens would have access to shit like that. Believe me. So, really, what I think other countries that wants to protect its citizens don't have laws that says they can't own any weapons. All right, that is the easiest way to give your enemies the upper hand if they ever decide to invade. All right, um, just saying, it makes sense. Arm your citizens, and then they can protect themselves. At least have a chance. Without it, then they don't have any chance at all.
There's anything that I've learned in the past couple years looking back at the pandemic, all of the shit that we have is fragile and it could snap at any second. Fuck all of the politicians. I don't trust anything they say. Take the word gun out of gun control and that's all that it is at the end of the day. I don't give a fuck how crazy you think that I look or I sound when I say this shit.
Well, here's the thing though. Alright, you guys already know I'm gonna be honest. Anything I think or feel, I'm gonna say it. Alright? So he made the point earlier that nobody is gonna scan their card and walk out with a gun. Okay? That's gun control. That's exactly what gun control is. It's telling people, look, you know, you have to show us you can be responsible with your weapons before we're going to give it to you. Alright? If anybody could scan their card and walk out with a gun, there's no gun control there. Alright? So, you see what I'm saying now? Now, if he's saying gun control and using it to define trying to take away all the guns or take away most of the guns or any extreme situation like that, then I get it. Alright? But gun control in general is not a bad thing. Alright? Because, like you said before, you know, people can't just grab a gun anywhere they want. Alright?
But our Second Amendment's the only thing that stands between us and a dictatorship.
Yeah. For the most part, I'd agree with that.
I'm not a security expert, so I won't act like one. But I think that if we can send over $50 billion to Ukraine, we could surely spend that much, or more, or less, here in our own country to fortify our schools and make them more secure so that every kid can get an education safe and sound.
You know what? I really wasn't expecting this. Look, this right here was something I addressed, you know, a few months back. I think the title was, "What's it gonna take to stop school shootings?" Beefing up security was the thing that I was talking about. Every single freaking school. Alright? Whatever it takes. Not metal detectors, not anything. I'm talking about giving the school a chance to fight off armed assailants. Alright? Either with real guns, with, you know, smoke bombs, whatever it takes. They can run scenarios and figure out the best way to maximize damage to assailants while minimizing the risk to the staff and to the children. Okay? They can find that right balance. They run scenarios and they go and replay them and replay them and replay them until they get the perfect amount of circumstances so that if anyone ever tries it again, they will have the firepower and the know-how and the skills to stop it dead in its tracks. Alright? That's what we got to do. And that goes for every single school, not just a few.
Place several trained armed guards in every school across America. You know, real men
Whatever
who
it
won't
takes.
stand by for 45 minutes in the hallway while a shooting unfolds in front of their own eyes. And pay them well, too.
Right. Whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. You know, if we got to have a SWAT team parked out during school, every single school have a SWAT team sitting there ready to go. Alright? If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, they shouldn't be worried about, oh, we got this type of situation here, now we got a situation there, and let's come up with a game plan, figure out how. Hell no. You deal with that situation right then and there. There's no time to spend coming up with a plan. Alright?
There's veterans that need the work.
Right?
Why not protect our kids the same way that we protect you? Politicians are protected by guns. Celebrities are protected by guns.
Yeah.
Every important person that walks this earth is protected by a gun.
You know, I am liking Samson more and more.
But our kids, they're important. Just not as much as you.
That's just wrong. It really is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it seems like it's gotten so popular that it's like now people are doing it just for something to do. They get pissed off and they're like, I'm going to go do this thing. Alright? And like, you know, I was watching a video. I don't remember what video it was I was watching, but they were talking about this. What he said was, it's because they're sitting targets. They have no protection whatsoever. None. That's why it keeps happening. However, you know, like what he was saying was, if we allowed the teachers to carry weapons, alright, it would become less and less likely that something like that would happen. Because you're not going to know which of the teachers are armed or not. Alright? It becomes more and more of a fair fight. You know, you got one gunman, you know, but then say you got 4 teachers that are armed. Okay? They're going to come right there and blow that sucker away. Alright? It becomes more of a fair fight.
Let's face it, you have a big roach problem. You've tried everything and sprayed harmful chemicals, but nothing seems to work. Until now.
Now look, this video right here is definitely going to be darkened up quite a bit. You know, I don't like doing it that way, but SNL, they'll block you unless you drastically alter the video. Alright, so that's what we got to do.
Hi, my name is Ned. I'll get rid of your nasty roach problem fast and easy with my all-new Ned's Roach Away. At Ned's, we know the only thing that can stop a bad roach is a good roach with a gun.
Oh man. So look, now there's another part in here that I'm not for sure what the relationship is um, with the message. All right, but what they're saying right now is that I think this is a anti gun control message. Okay, because what they're saying is we have bad roaches, but if we create good roaches with guns, they can come in and wipe out all the bad ones. All right.
That's why I've spent years personally training an army of my own good roaches to carry and operate tiny AR-15 rifles to protect your homes. For just $59.95.
There was a line in here to where it made me realize the context, and I was like, oh my god, I had never thought about it before. Alright, the line is really hilarious anyways, and as I was watching it, I was kind of repeating it because it was so funny the way he puts it, you know. But that's when it started making me think, oh, wait a minute, there's a message here.
Roaches will patrol your cabinets, your stoves, and wherever those roaches like to hide. The bang mean is working. So forget about those sprays. Roaches just drink that stuff up like tequila. You might as well put it in a piñata and throw those roaches a party. But with Ned's Roach Away, the party's over.
The party's over, y'all.
Now, some people might say, but Ned, when gun-carrying roaches just add to my problem, that's so dumb it makes me mad.
That right there, y'all. Right there. That's what finally got to me like, oh, wait a minute. There's an important message here. Alright? Because he said, he got a critique saying, wouldn't good roaches with guns just add to my problems? In other words, maybe we should take all the guns away. So that argument is for the extremists saying we shouldn't have any guns at all. Alright? There you go. That's the whole thing right there. You know?
My vetting systems make sure only the best high-character, God-fearing roaches can carry guns. It's time to go to church. And none of my roaches are gay.
This part is what's got me confused. Alright? Like, what does that have to do with anything? I don't really know, y'all. Yeah, so that part I'm not sure about. Because it seems kind of irrelevant for what we're talking about, gun control, right? It could be a political statement, is what it could be, alright? So, generally, it could be saying that people on the right want less gun control, and people on the right also tend to go against the LGBTQ community. Alright, so that could be the distinction that he's pointing out, and how just insane that is. So that it could be that. So that right there, to me, is a stereotype. That's exactly what that is. To look at someone and say, oh, well, because you're on the right, that means you support this and don't support that. Or if you're on the left, oh, that means you're this type of person. Alright? We are way more complicated than that. Every single person is going to have their own unique beliefs. Alright? That's not going to fit perfectly within, anything of a large group of people. They're all going to have different and unique belief systems. Alright? So, I think really what we got to do, stop judging people based on vague labels, because that's what they are. If someone says, I'm a Democrat, that doesn't tell you anything about their belief system. Nothing. The only thing it says is it gives you an idea of what their belief systems might be, not a clear indication until you start asking them the questions. How do you feel about gun control? How do you feel about gay rights? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? Ask those specific questions, all right? Then you can get an idea about their belief systems. But until you do that, shut your mouth because you don't know what you're talking about. Stop going around trying to judge books by their covers. All right? It just doesn't work that way. All right? You know, to give you guys an example, all right? Now, this is going to get really interesting, I think. I am a lefty who thinks abortion is murder. That shouldn't work, right? That's, according to the stereotype, I should be pro-choice all the way. But I'm not. But even though someone might say they're pro-choice, that still doesn't tell you very much about how they feel about it. Because there's different scenarios where different, things would apply. You see what I'm saying? So if you're talking about morning after pill versus an abortion where, the baby already is fully formed and has a heartbeat, those are two very different things. Very different. So the question you have to ask is, okay, where do you draw the line? All right. So, and that's the thing. You have to ask specific questions and bring up specific scenarios and say, how do you feel about this specific scenario? All right. Until you do that, then you don't really know anything about that person and how or why they believe certain things. All right. I just looked it up. I'm still not sure what bump stop is. So if y'all know, let me know. All right.
Plus, my roaches are trained to teach their babies how to shoot, creating a cycle. So there'll be gun-carrying roaches in your home for good. So get Ned's Roach Away system today. You don't need pest control. You need pest solutions.
And that last part right there, in other words, by arming our good citizens, will continue the cycle. All right. And more good citizens will be armed. All right. And ready to take out the bad people with guns. All right. And I mean, as hopefully you guys can see how this sort of ties in with Samson's video. All right. Just amazing, y'all.
Lady, your house is nasty.
Sorry.
And even that last line right there, lady, your house is nasty. In other words, he's saying it's horrible that, we have so many bad people with guns. That's, oh man, what a great video from Samson, and what a great message from SNL right here. You know what I'm saying? Alright, I will see y'all in the next video. Till then, I'm out.